I'm incredibly inspired. You know, we spent a lot of time on the road over the last year, getting to many different parts of the country, meeting people, and just really feeling actually hopeful and inspired because we're bringing together Democrats, Republicans, and independents. People are coming together and saying, hey, we're not going to agree on everything, but we stand united, motivated by our love of country. And when we do that, we can accomplish anything.
You talk about pulling people from all those different areas.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about yourself as a candidate and your campaign in particular that's able to reach across those invisible aisles?
I'm intentionally reaching out to all Americans, not just talking to people from one group or another group, and treating them with respect. And it's actually sad that in this day and age of divisiveness and hyperpartisanship, that just reaching out and treating someone with respect and saying, hey, let's work together is such a big deal, but it is, and it speaks to the kind of progress and change that we need to make as a country to heal those divides, and that's what we're already doing and I'm looking to do as president.
You speak about divisiveness. In terms of that specifically, what are your thoughts on where the Democratic field is right now?
In which way?
In terms of how they have been in their criticisms of each other.
Yeah. I think that in what we're hearing from people in different parts of the country is that so much of the politics in this presidential primary has become about reality TV and, you know, who can kind of attack each other the most, who's got the strongest tweet or soundbite, rather than actually helping inform voters about what kind of leadership and experience they bring to fulfill the most important responsibility as commander-in-chief. This is exactly where I've been focused, and this is where I think we're seeing support coming from Americans from different backgrounds, different parties who are just saying, hey, let's get to work. Let's focus on delivering results and solving problems.
Have there been any points in which you felt pulled towards that more critical style and the more divisive style at all?
Well, I think there's important contrast that exist on policy, on these different qualifications or the lack thereof, and it's important for voters to be able to know that. But no, I'm not at all interested in playing the partisan political games or just putting something out for tweets or for retweets or for ratings.
And switching gears a little bit, you've made ending foreign wars kind of one of the cruxes of your campaign. From the perspective of a veteran, why is that so important?
Just very specifically, as a veteran and still a soldier currently serving in the Army National Guard, I understand the cost of war. I also understand that war is sometimes necessary to ensure the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. I've been very specific in talking about the kind of sea change in foreign policy I'll bring, where I'll work to end wasteful regime change wars, going and toppling dictators in other countries, work to end this new Cold War, nuclear arms race we're seeing with escalating tensions between the US and Russia and China. These are wars that have not made us any safer, and they've cost us tremendously in lives and taxpayer dollars. So I'll redirect those taxpayer dollars to actually serve the needs of the American people here at home.
And you're in Virginia.
Yes.
As we touched on earlier, I don't blame you if you're not sure what time it is or what state you're in right now, but is there anything that you'd like to communicate specifically to people who live in this state, in this part of the country?
You know, Virginia voters are known to be very independent thinkers and obviously have very strong roots in our nation's history. So really focusing on what binds us together, you know, how we are rooted in our Constitution, the oath that I've taken to support and defend the Constitution, both as a soldier and a member of Congress, is something I take really seriously. It is that togetherness that enables us to be able to heal the divides, even in areas where we may disagree, so that we can move forward towards a bright future for all.
I see you're buttering us up there with the compliments at the beginning. That was nice. I appreciate it. I do feel deeply rooted in
Yeah, it's the truth.
And while you're here doing what you do, what do you hope to hear and see on the debate stage tonight, where hopefully you'll be back again shortly?
Substance. You know, the debates, unfortunately, have become a political reality theater or TV, and it's not doing a service to voters in helping them make the best informed decisions. I think in all of the debates that we've seen so far, there has been such a minor focus minuscule focus, I would say, on foreign policy, as well as what kind of qualifications, experience, and background any candidate brings to serve as commander-in-chief. This is the biggest responsibility that the president has, to ensure that safety, security, and freedom. And not only is this a disservice to voters, but it is a disservice to my brothers and sisters in uniform and their families who pay the price for those decisions that are made.
It's an interesting perspective. Do you feel as though because things are so tumultuous domestically right now that that's been pushed to the side, or is this long-term that hasn't gotten enough?
This has been a long-standing problem. The media is culpable in this, in not holding different candidates' feet to the fire on their record, their position or decisions on these different issues. But it's critical to recognize that as this affects directly our military men and women and their families, it also impacts every single American, because when you look at the trillions of dollars that we've spent on regime change wars like Iraq and Libya, and ongoing in Syria, ongoing in Afghanistan, we as taxpayers are paying for that. And so when we hear politicians say there's not enough money for education, there's not enough money for healthcare or infrastructure, economic development, affordable housing, well, we've got to look at where our taxpayer dollars are going. And once again, these are going to wage wars that are not making us as a country any safer.
And this is my last question.
All right.
I didn't extend for it to be this long, but you pulled
it's
me
cool.
into your answers a little bit. Kind of the big news right now, what are your thoughts on the Bernie situation with Cuba, the comments that have been made by other candidates and by him?
I haven't seen his comments.
He's been relatively complimentary of the Castro regime. Personally, I wouldn't describe it that way for a viewing audience, but just to tell you, he has emphasized how they provided education to all the young people, and they provided health care to those who need it, even though it was a tyrannical regime in many ways. You don't have to answer if you're not.
Yeah, no, I'd rather kind of see it for myself, understand the context.
Sure. Anything else you'd like to add?
I guess, just as it relates to Cuba, I personally look back to the change in policy that President Obama made to try to open up relations, lift the embargoes, and really, what am I thinking here? To open up a new track forward, recognizing that our relationship and policies towards Cuba for the last 50 years, it hasn't helped the Cuban people. It actually has hurt them. So that's where in my administration I would look back to reinstating some of the Obama policies as it relates to Cuba and undoing the damage that's been done under the Trump administration.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.